The Bulawayo City Council has once again proven that common sense is not completely extinct in Zimbabwe, much to the dismay of the central government. While Harare is foaming at the mouth, demanding that vendors pack up their tomatoes and disappear into thin air within 48 hours, Bulawayo has decided to take a revolutionary stance: relocation before eviction. Yes, you heard that right. Instead of treating vendors like trespassing cockroaches, BCC is doing the unthinkable, treating them like human beings. What an outrage. Someone in government must be having heart palpitations right now. The directive from the central government was clear. Vendors must vanish from the streets immediately. But BCC, in a rare show of independent thought, decided that before kicking people out, they should probably first find them somewhere to go. Because, shocker, people actually depend on these vending stores to survive. Deputy Mayor Edwin Ndlovu, probably bracing for a phone call full of insults from Harare, explained that the city had already been working on relocation plans long before this directive came flying in like a badly aimed missile. Places like Egodini and Baktas have been identified as vendor relocation sites, meaning vendors won't be left wandering the streets like ghosts after an exorcism. The Bulawayo City Council, which is largely an opposition council, already identified this issue before the elections. Because before the elections in 2023, ZANU-PF was encouraging the vendors to go onto the streets. In fact, this problem of vendors being on the streets was created by ZANU-PF itself whilst canvassing for votes. When the councils wanted to implement council regulations and council bylaws, they were met with resistance by ZANU-PF campaigners. You want V11s? Here they are.
Comrades, anditi chatiri kuda ndechekuti munhu wese make sure you registered voter. Anditi imimi hamuna kwamuchaenda even after election. But munofana register kuvhota kuti mubvise makansela aya ari kuti imi mubve mustreet. They are fighting nemi zveupenyu hwenyu imimi. Kozi mukabva mustreet munanotengesera kupi? Mhuri dzinova nenzara. Saka sekula yavo isu yavaudza kuti isu seZANU-PF hakuna vhenda anobatwa. Kusvika Jesu adzoka. Kana takuenda kudenga naJesu tosiyana nechivhenda. Saka tiri kuti mimi relaxai garai, itimu ichauya ichiona kuregister kuvhota nanobatsirwa zvitupa. Haisi mhosva kuti hauna kuregister kuvhota. Haisi mhosva kuti hauna zvitupa. Hauharasirwi izvozvo. Ndosati vakuasistei kuti muende munodi kuregister kuvhota mutore zvitupa. Handiti? Saka ngatiende munzvimbo dzedu ngatitande takasungunuka.
After having used these vendors for the elections, ZANU-PF comes back and this is what they say.
The government has noted with great concern the proliferation of illegal vendors in central business districts and surrounding areas in the cities and towns across the country, and particularly the influx of night vendors or night trading, which has created serious health, safety and security concerns throughout the country. It has also been observed that the mushrooming of these unregulated marketplaces disrupts the operations of legal registered and law-abiding traders, leading to increased unfair competition and potential financial losses. Illegal vending perpetuates unsanitary conditions as vendors operate in areas without potable water and ablution facilities, which poses a significant risk for disease outbreaks, diseases such as typhoid, dysentery, and cholera. In light of these pressing issues, the government is directing all local authorities to clear vendors from undesignated points within 48 hours from now.
Any bells ringing? On this channel, we have been telling you always, do not trust ZANU-PF. They will say one thing because they want to achieve an end, a selfish end. And the next thing, when they are done with you, they discard you. They discard you like toilet paper. They throw you away into the nearest rubbish bin. So Bulawayo City Council decided not to be antagonistic to the vendors. They realized this was not the vendors' fault to begin with. It was a ZANU-PF fault. ZANU-PF encouraged illegal vendors to come into the streets and not to pay licenses to the municipality and just sell. They were called vendors for ED. They were even given money, startups, during those elections by ZANU-PF to break the laws, to break the council regulations. And they were being encouraged, vote out these councillors because these councillors want you off the streets. And there's no way you are going to go off these streets. You are going to continue vending until Jesus comes. So Bulawayo City Council has done what a proper government should have done in the first place. Of course, Harare will not take this act of defiance lightly because they have defied the government. They have defied ZANU-PF. They have defied Mnangagwa. The government doesn't enjoy being ignored. Just ask any opposition politician. The standard playbook is simple. Issue an order, expect blind obedience, and if there is any resistance, unleash the riot police. But BCC, in its infinite wisdom, has decided that people deserve a transition plan. How dare they? Someone must have forgotten that in Zimbabwe, governance usually means making decisions first and thinking later. Now we have a city council actually thinking ahead. What's next? Sensible budgeting? Transparent service delivery? Let's not get ahead of ourselves. The real joke here is the licensing situation. Out of 3,416 vending bays in the CBD, a mind-blowing 3,279 are occupied. Sounds like a thriving economy, right? Not quite. Only 244 vendors have licenses, thanks to ZANU-PF. Thanks to ZANU-PF's 2023 election campaigns. Yes, a whole 244. That means the majority of vendors are technically illegal, operating in a system that punishes them for trying to survive. And the city council, like I said, knows it's not because the vendors are at fault. It's because ZANU-PF encouraged it. I keep repeating this. It's because ZANU-PF encouraged it towards the elections. At one particular vending site, there are 814 occupied stores and only 12 licensed vendors. 12. The rest are just outlaws in a government-created black market. And then authorities act surprised when the economy is informal. Where else do they expect people to go when formal jobs are as rare as a pothole-free road? In an effort to restore order, BCC has admitted that their own municipal officers aren't exactly built for combat. They are not going to fight the vendors. They are not going to go with the baton sticks evicting the vendors. That's the job of the Republic Police of Zimbabwe. So they said the Zimbabwe Republic Police will be called in to handle enforcement. Because let's be honest, no one is afraid of a municipal officer waving a ticket book. Vendors know that ZRP officers mean business, and by business, we mean they come with tear gas and baton sticks, ready to enforce the law with the subtlety of a sledgehammer. For now, BCC's strategy suggests they won't need to resort to force unless absolutely necessary. So, ZRP officers are not yet invited to the party. This move by Bulawayo City Council has sparked mixed reactions. The Bulawayo Chamber of Small and Medium Enterprises is over the moon. They are clapping enthusiastically at the prospect of order being restored. These are the guys that have grocery shops and corner shops and so forth. Meanwhile, the Bulawayo Vendors and Traders Association is breathing a sigh of relief because their members won't be dragged off the streets like criminals just yet. Isn't that sensible? Didn't the government think of this? Everyone is happy. The traders, the formal traders are happy. The informal traders are happy. Even ordinary citizens are watching this unfold with curiosity, waiting to see if BCC will hold its ground or eventually fold under pressure from the big boys in Harare. So, what does this all mean? It means that while the central government is in its usual mode of issuing commands without logic, Bulawayo is showing that it is possible to regulate vendors without causing mass suffering. It means that, in a rare twist of fate, a local authority has chosen to think before acting. It also means that somewhere in a government office, a very angry official is probably drafting a strongly worded letter to remind BCC who is boss. For now, vendors in Bulawayo can breathe a little easier, knowing that their city council has at least a shred of decency left. Ladies and gentlemen, the government has gone on a rampage in the past few months to frustrate the normal person on the street. Mnangagwa's government, over the years, has done a lot of things that have frustrated the normal person on the streets. They reintroduced the local currency because they wanted to use it to steal from the government, to steal all the US dollars that the government had. When they were done stealing, they introduced another currency, the gold-backed coin, and then the ZIG. All these things that were being introduced were just frustrating the normal you and me. Not only that, they introduced a 2% transfer levy on every money that is transferred from one bank into another or from one mobile wallet to another. Not only that, they have reintroduced a lot of taxes. Even taxes that had been abolished because they were colonial taxes, like heart tax, bicycle tax. All those taxes are back, just so that they can steal more money from the people, so they can milk more the normal human being on the street. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not a government. This is a mafia running our country. We should all say no to this mafia. It is up to you and me to stand up and fight. And if you want to keep hearing the truth served with a side of sarcasm, make sure to subscribe to Zimwaves TV, because someone has to keep calling out this circus for what it is.